Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Vocabulary 2, Book 6, Unit 8 vocabulary presentation. The final one of this series. I hope you've taken the time to watch the previous video, as it will help you deduce the meaning and some of the questions that we'll cover. So, I hope you're ready. Let's get started. Adaptability. Noun, being able to adjust to new conditions. 1. Does it mean to have flexibility? Well, if you're able to adjust to new conditions, that means that, yes, it means you are flexible. If you're adaptable, you're able to adapt to new conditions. You're flexible. And number 2, does it mean you have no choice? Does it mean you have no choice? No. Because you have a choice, you have the choice because you are adaptable. If you're adaptable, you have a choice. And fill in the blank. He had very little adaptability in dealing with his fellow students. He had very little adaptability in dealing with his fellow students. He wasn't very flexible. He wasn't able to adjust to new conditions. Anxiety. Noun. Again, anxiety, noun. Is it the state of feeling nervous or worried that something bad will happen? Is it the state of feeling nervous or worried that something bad will happen? We can have this picture to get an idea. Yes, it is the state of feeling nervous or worried that something bad might happen. Let's try to fill in the blanks. Tom tried to hide his anxiety because he was worried that his parents might find out about his poor grades. Tom tried to hide his anxiety because he was worried that his parents might find out about his poor grades. Capable of. Capable of. Able to do something. Having the ability to do something. Are the words below synonyms or antonyms of capable? And remember, what is a synonym? What is a synonym? A synonym is a word or two or more words that have the same or similar meaning. Synonyms are words that have the same or similar meaning, while antonyms are, what is an antonym? It is the opposite of a synonym. Words that have the opposite meanings. For example, good and evil, light and dark. So, are the words below synonyms, words that have similar meanings, or antonyms, words that have the opposite of capable? Unsuitable, useless, incapable, or unable to do? Well, capable of being capable of something means being able to do something, so these must be antonyms. They are antonyms because they are un or in. So that means they are the negative form, so they're antonyms of capable. A compulsion. A compulsion. Noun, a strong desire to do something. A strong desire to do something. For example, I gave in to one of my compulsions and ordered the chocolate dessert. I gave in to one of my compulsions and ordered the chocolate dessert. Is a compulsion a weak feeling you can ignore? Is a compulsion a weak feeling you can ignore? No, it is a strong desire. And if something is a strong desire, it means that it is hard to ignore. So is a compulsion a weak feeling you can ignore? No, it is not. It is hard to ignore. Compulsive. Compulsive. Adjective, meaning uncontrollable. Compulsive, adjective, compulsive. For example, my friend is a compulsive shopper, spending more than what he can afford. My friend is a compulsive shopper, spending more than what he can afford. Quick question. Does a compulsive shopper buy a lot of things? Does a compulsive shopper buy a lot of things? Yes, a compulsive shopper buys a lot of things. They find it hard to control themselves, hard to control their actions or their impulses. Conscious. Adjective, aware. Conscious. Adjective, to be aware. Which word matches conscious? Which word matches conscious? Awake, unaware, scared, unsure, or alert. Which word matches conscious? What do we say? That's right. Alert. Alert. If you are aware, you are alert. You could also be awake, is to be aware. Again, the presentation is not done by the presenter. Contemplation. Contemplation. The act of thinking about something in great deal. The act of thinking about something in great deal. So, contemplation. What is the correct word form for contemplation? That's right, it is a noun. Remember, if words end in shun, they are typically nouns. Question number 2. Is it the act of forgetting? Is it the act of forgetting? No, the act of contemplation is the act of thinking about something in great deal. So is it the act of forgetting? No, it isn't. It is the opposite. Fill in the blank. He sank into contemplation, clueless how to handle the latest of his challenges. He sank into contemplation, clueless how to handle the latest of his challenges. Cooperation. Cooperation. Number 1, does it mean working with other people? Does it mean working with other people? Yes. The noun cooperation means working with people, working together. We need your cooperation. Number 2, choose the words that match cooperation. Choose the words or word that matches with cooperation. Is it alone, together, group, or single? Alone, together, group, or single. So which words match or closely align with the word and concept of cooperation? That's right, there's two words, together and be in group. For example, we need your cooperation to work in a group together. We need you to work in cooperation in a group together. Crave. To want very badly. Crave. To want something very badly. What is the word form? What is the word form of crave? That's right, it is a verb. For example, this man looks like he craves money. Number 2, does it mean to want more of something? Does it mean to want more of something? Yes, if you want something very badly, then you're going to want to have more of it. And number 3, can you crave success? Can you crave success? Yes. Lots of people crave success. They have a deep desire to be successful. They crave it. They want it very badly. A dependency. A dependency. Is it a noun or a verb? Is it a noun or verb? Well, we know that we can see here it is prefaced by an article, so it must be a noun. A dependency is a noun. So the baby has a dependency on its father. Is this a dependency relationship? Yes. Children have a dependency on their parents when they are younger. And if you have a dependency on coffee, do you need to drink it often? If you have a dependency on coffee, do you need to drink it often? Yes. If you have a dependency, it means you have a reliance on it. You desire it, you need it, you crave it. Can a dependency be harmful? Can a dependency be harmful? Remember, a dependency means having a dependence on something, a reliance on something to need it. So, can it be harmful? Yes, it can be. If you need something to live your daily life and you can't have it, then it can be harmful. What's an example? Smoking. For example, smoking is a harmful dependency. Devices. Are they tools or machines? Devices. Are they tools or machines? Let's have a look at the picture. Here we can see many different kinds of devices. And are they tools or machines? They can be both. For example, a tablet is an electronic device. A ruler might be a tool. A ruler is a tool. And a tablet is a form of machine. So are tools or machines devices? Yes, they are. Can you identify a device in the picture? Sure. These are all, or most of them are devices. And is the word devices singular or plural? Is the word devices singular or plural? The answer, of course, is plural. We add an S to nouns that are in the plural form. Most nouns. And does it mean more than one machine? Yes, as we just said, devices is plural, so yes, it means that there's more than one machine. Diminish. Verb. Diminish. Verb. Does it mean to increase something? Diminish. Does it mean to increase something? No. It means the opposite. It means that something is being reduced or lessened. For example, the quantity of this apple is diminishing with each frame. The quantity of this apple is diminishing for each frame. It is becoming smaller. And if you diminish your money, will you have more or less? Like we said, we just established that diminish means to reduce or have less of something. So yes, if your money is diminishing, you will have less money. As the rain began to diminish or accelerate, we headed out to the park. As the rain began to diminish or accelerate, we headed out to the park. What's the answer? Of course, the answer is the verb diminish. As the rain began to diminish, we headed out to the park. Dysfunctional. Dysfunctional. Adjective. And number 1, does it mean to work properly? Does it mean to work properly? Well, we can have a look at this picture, and if they are dysfunctional and it looks like they're sleeping, then it means no. If something is dysfunctional, it does not work properly. And number 2, is it operating normally? Like we just said, if something is dysfunctional, it does not work properly, so no, they don't operate normally. Just as we see in this picture, this team is dysfunctional because they are not operating as a team normally. Number 3, choose the word that does not match. Choose the word that does not match. For example, broken, damaged, good, or non-functional. Once more, the choices were broken, damaged, good, or non-functional. Well, we know that if something is dysfunctional, it does not work properly or normally, so it must be good. Good does not match because if something is broken, damaged, or non-functional, it means they don't work normally or properly. Ensure. Ensure. Verb. Does it mean to make something? Does it mean to make certain that something happens? Does ensure mean to make certain that something happens? Yes. If you ensure something, you are making sure, you're making certain that it happens, that it works, that it goes on, that you do something. So it is their responsibility to ensure that the rules are enforced. Once more, number 1, it is their responsibility to ensure that the rules are enforced. Number 2, we can ensure or sure that the work shall be done in the right way. What's the answer? Of course, ensure. We can ensure that the work shall be done in the right way. And number 3, I fitted a new lock to ensure that the bicycle would not be stolen. Number 3 again. I fitted a new lock to ensure that the bicycle would not be stolen. And what can we say of this picture? We can see that the teacher is ensuring that his student understands the work. In this picture, we can see that the teacher is ensuring that his student is able to do the work. Escapist. Escapist. What word form is it, remember? That's right, it is an adjective. Movies are an escapist activity. And number 1, does it mean to get away from real life? Number 1, does it mean to get away from real life? Yes. Escapism means to get away from real life. Watching movies is an escapist activity. Number 2, is it real or imaginary? Is it real or imaginary? It's imaginary. It's not real because escapist, if something is escapist, it means to get away from real life and enter a different kind of world. Fantasy world, perhaps. And number 3, does it mean to live in a fantasy world? It can be, it might not be. Escapist, if something is an escapist activity, it just means anything that is not related to reality. And number 4, is it fake or real? Like we said, escapism is about escaping reality, so it's not real, it's fake or simulated. A feature. Noun. A feature. Noun. First question. It is important. Is it an important part of something? Again, remember the teachers are not, the presenter does not write slides. Is it an important part of something? Yes. A feature is a part of something. For example, in this picture, we can see that a prominent feature of the picture is the bridge over the river. Airbags are a safety feature in cars. Does it mean that it is interesting? Does it mean that it is interesting? Well, it could be yes or no. It depends on what kind of feature it is. The third question, is it a typical part of an area? Is it a typical part of an area? Yes, it can. It's a feature of it. It's something that is standard, something that you find in everything, for example. For example, airbags in a car. Those are our standard safety feature. What feature can you see in the picture? Well, you can see there is a big river and there's a bridge across the river. And there are many other different features that we can see. We can see there's a forest. We can see there's farmland. We can see there's some houses and some buildings. There are many features in this picture. It's an interesting picture. Go berserk. Go berserk. When you go berserk, are you happy? When you go berserk, are you happy? Well, let's have a look at this picture. This picture describes going berserk. Is he happy? No. Does it make you angry? Does go berserk mean to make you angry? Yes. If you go berserk, you lose control of your emotions. So can you control your emotions? No. No, you can't control your emotions. What makes you go berserk? What makes you go berserk? Is it not getting good results in English class? Is it not missing out on your favorite TV show on TV? Is it getting into a argument with family members? What makes you go berserk? What makes you get angry and lose control of your emotions? What is it? Go cold turkey. Verbal expression, phrasal verb. Go cold turkey. Phrasal verb. Do you go cold turkey when you want to start something? Do you go cold turkey when you want to start something? No. You go cold turkey when you want to stop something. For example, smoking. Going cold turkey while smoking is difficult. And does it mean that it is sudden? Does going cold turkey mean that it is sudden? Yes, it means you stop now. And does it refer to an activity? Does it refer to an activity? Yes. Going cold turkey means that you stop doing an activity or a behavior. So you could stop smoking by going cold turkey. And when do people go cold turkey? When they want to quit something. People go cold turkey when they want to quit something. An influx. Noun. An influx. Noun. Choose the appropriate word from the box. Students, guests, or refugees. The hotel has received a large influx of well, what types of people from these three go to hotels? That's right, guests. The hotel has received a large influx of guests. And for the second, they are expecting an influx of several thousand over the next few days. They are experiencing an influx of several thousand over the next few days. What's the answer? Refugees. They are expecting an influx of several thousand refugees over the next few days. The final example, there was an influx of blank for registration at the college. There was an influx of blank for registration at the college. The answer, of course, students. There was an influx of students for registration at the college. Initially. Initially. And number one, is it an adverb or an adjective? Is initially an adverb or an adjective? Well, we can see at the end we have ly, and ly at the end of a word is generally an indication of what type of word? Right. It is usually an indication that a word is an adverb. Initially is an adverb. And number two, does it mean at the end? Again, question number two, does it mean at the end? Well, we can see from this picture, does it say finish line? No, it says the start. So does it mean at the end? No, it means at the start of something. And number three, when would you use initially in a sentence? When would you use initially in a sentence? Usually you would use initially at the start of a sentence. Interactive. Adjective. Interactive. Adjective. Does it mean to work alone? Does it mean to work alone? No, it means to work together, to work in a group, to work with other people. Does it mean to communicate with others? As we can see in this picture, yes. Interactive means being able to or communicating with others, with other people. Does it mean to work apart? Does it mean to work apart? And remember, what does apart mean? What does being apart mean? It means being alone, being separated. So does it mean to work apart? Are these people in this picture working apart? No, they're working together. So does interactive mean to work apart? No, it doesn't. Are the students interactive in class? Are the students interactive in class? Looks more like a business meeting. But are they interactive? Yes, they're talking back and forth. Keep an eye on. Keep an eye on. Let's check your understanding. Let's check your understanding. Is keep an eye on a phrasal verb or an adjective? Is keep an eye on a phrasal verb or an adjective? That's right, it is a phrasal verb. Keep an eye on. It's an action. And does it mean to not pay very close attention to something? Does it mean to not pay very close attention to something? No, remember it says to keep an eye on something. So if you're keeping your eye on something, you're not letting it go. So no, it doesn't mean to not pay close attention. It means to pay close attention, to watch very closely, to examine something, almost. And choose a synonym for keep an eye on. Choose a synonym for keep an eye on, ignore or monitor. And we just revealed that to keep an eye on something means to watch closely. So the answer must be to monitor. For example, teachers monitor student behavior in class. Teachers monitor student behavior in class. They keep an eye on student behavior. Literally. Literally. Is it a verb or an adverb? Is it a verb or an adverb? Well, we've just said, you can see here that it ends in ly, and it is an indication of what type of word? That's right, an adverb. Literally is an adverb. And is it used to express weak feelings? Is it used to express weak feelings? No, it's used to express direct meanings. Direct meanings, direct things, what you actually did. Does it mean actually? Yes, it means actually. So here we can see the literal meaning. He put all his baskets into one basket. The literal meaning. And the figurative meaning it's you don't want to put all your investments, for example, into one basket because that's a high risk. Lose contact with. Lose contact with. If you lose contact with someone, do you see them often? If you lose contact with someone, do you see them often? No. If you lose contact with them, it means you don't get to see them very often. And number two, if you lose contact with someone, do you no longer see them? If you lose contact with someone, do you no longer see them? Yes, because you've lost contact with them. The second part, if you lose contact with someone, do you stop communicating with them? If you lose contact with someone, do you stop communicating with them? Yes. If you've lost communicating with them, if you've lost contact with them, that means you're unable to communicate with them. Moderate. Moderate. What type of word? Clues in the picture. That's right, moderate is an adjective. So is it an adverb or an adjective? It is an adjective. If it were an adverb, what would we see on the end? That's right, it would be ly. Moderately is the adverb. Moderate is the adjective, and if you move the pronunciation, the stress on the syllable, moderate or moderate, it becomes a verb. Does it mean an average amount? Does moderate mean an average amount? Yes, it means a normal amount, a usual amount, an average amount. And what is a synonym of moderate? Ordinary. It's not a direct synonym, but it's close enough, I suppose. Ordinary is a rough synonym of moderate. Obsessive. Obsessive. Adjective. He is always on his phone. Does that mean he is obsessive? He is always on his phone. Does that mean he is obsessive? Well, it can mean that he's obsessive about his phone. He's obsessive about his phone, but perhaps you might more accurately say that he is, if he's always on his phone, he is obsessed with his phone. We use the verb obsess. He is obsessed with his phone. If someone's obsessive, it means that they might obsess over lots of different things, not just one thing. Number 2, does it mean that you forget about things because you are only concentrating on one thing? That's more number 2. Does it mean that you forget about things because you are only concentrating on one thing? Yes. If you're obsessive about something, you might lose your attention to detail for other things because you're obsessed with one thing. You're preoccupied on one item, and so you might neglect things if you're obsessive. And do you neglect things when you're obsessive? Again, yeah, we said you might neglect things, but not necessarily. Depends on how you approach things. Randomly. Randomly. Number 1, is it an adverb or a verb? Again, is it an adverb or a verb? Like we said in the previous slides, if it ends in ly, then there's a very good chance that the word is an adverb. And for this case, it is true. Randomly is an adverb. Number 2, does it mean to have a definite plan? Number 2, does it mean to have a definite plan? No, it means you have no plan, there's nothing, it's not fixed, it's random, it can change. It's fluid. Number 3, does it have a fixed pattern? Again, does it have a fixed pattern? No. If something is random, the adjective random, if it's random, it means there's no fixed pattern. It can change. And number 4, is it a result that is known? Again, is it a result that is known? No, like we've established, random means to change, to constantly change. There's no rhyme or reason. It's random. A reinforcement. A reinforcement. Is it a noun or a verb? Is it a noun or a verb? Well, if we see an article before a word, then it's a good chance if it'll be an adjective or a noun. In this case, we don't have the option of an adjective, so a reinforcement must be a noun. Does it encourage a certain behavior? Does it encourage a certain behavior? It can do, yes. For example, if you are training an animal, you might give the animal treats for good behavior. So yes, does it encourage certain behavior? Yes. I guess it's you're kind of using in the verb form reinforce, because you're not a reinforcement, you're reinforcing something, which is the verb. For example, good behavior in animals. You might give treats to reinforce good behavior. Number 3, do you like a reinforcement? Do you like a reinforcement? Well, a reinforcement can be a replacement, so again, it's not a very good question. Number 4, is it a type of reward or punishment? Is it a type of reward or punishment? Well, it could be both, but perhaps more closely to a reward. But again, this question is not very good for this type of word. But yeah, again, it goes back to the second question. You can give a treat to an animal to reinforce the verb, to reinforce good behavior, to reward good behavior. So is it a type of reward or punishment? It can be a form of a reward. And the last one, is it a type of motivation? Is it a type of motivation? Well, again, this question's not very good for this word. But I suppose that if you are giving, again, going back to the example of the animals, if you give a treat to an animal, you are reinforcing good behavior, so you're motivating them to improve their behavior. So yes, I suppose a reinforcement or reinforcing good behaviors with treats can be a type of motivation. Relent. Relent. Is it a verb or an adjective? Relent. Is it a verb or an adjective? That's right, it is a verb. Relent means to give in, to do something. To give in, to do something. You relent, you say, okay, I'll do it. You relent, you give in, you do it. Does it mean to give in after refusing? Yes. Again, for example, in this picture, the man relented and signed the contract. He gave in and signed the contract. Do you agree or disagree when you relent? Do you agree or disagree when you relent? That's right, you agree. If you relent, you agree to do something. If you relent, you are agreeing to do something. And lastly, is it something you do initially? Is it something you do initially? No, it's not, because initially, at first, you refuse to do something, but later on, you relent and give in. So is it something you do initially? No, it's not. It's something that you struggle with and then relent and give in and do the action. Shed its image. Shed its image. Does it mean to reinvent yourself? Does it mean to reinvent yourself? Yes. It can mean to change yourself. So in this picture, we can see that here he shed his image as someone overweight and reinvented himself as someone who is in better shape. Second question, when you shed an image, do you take it with you? When you shed an image, do you take it with you? As we said, it means to reinvent, so no. When you shed an image, do you take it with you? No, you do not. You leave it behind. And third question, does it mean to stay the same? Does shed its image mean to stay the same? No, like we said, it means to reinvent and leave behind the old idea, the old perceptions, and come out as something new, something better. A strategy. A strategy. Is it a noun or a verb? Is it a noun or a verb? We can see here we have an article, so it must be a noun. A strategy is a noun. Does it mean to have a plan? Does a strategy mean to have a plan? Yes, it does. If you have a strategy, it means you have a plan or a method to do something. I'm sure lots of you have different learning strategies to learn English. And is it a type of method? Like we said, yes. A plan or a strategy can be a method to do something. And the fourth question, is it good or bad to use a strategy? Is it good or bad to use strategy? Well, it's probably good. Using a strategy can lead to a better outcome. Using a strategy can lead to a better outcome. It's better to plan and have a method than do something unprepared. A substitute. A substitute. Is it a noun or a verb? Is it a noun or a verb? It is a verb. We don't see the article before it, so it must be a verb. And the second question, does it mean to use something different? Does it mean to use something different? Have a look at the pictures for an idea. Yes. Does it mean to use something different? Yes. You should substitute Pepsi for water as a healthy drink. You should substitute Pepsi for water because it is healthier. In football, you make a player comes off the field and a player goes on. A substitute, you are substituting a player and bringing on a different one. You're changing a player. The fourth question, is it the same thing? Is it the same thing as we can see here? No. So if you substitute something, you are changing it. You're using something different. A temptation. A temptation. Is it a noun or a verb? What do we see here? That is an article. So temptation, and we see the shun equally. So it must be a noun. And does it mean a weak or a strong desire? Does it mean a weak or a strong desire? It is strong. For example, the temptation to eat donuts in this picture can be strong. Can you control a strong temptation? Can you control a strong temptation? Well, it depends. You must have self-control. If you have self-control, then you are able to resist temptations. And number 4, does it mean to want to do something? Does it mean to want to do something? Yes. If you are tempted to do something, that's the verb. If you are tempted, the adjective here, if you're tempted, then yes, it means you want to do something. She is tempted to eat the donut, but she's saying no. Trigger. Trigger. Is it a verb or a noun? Well, we can see there's no article beforehand, so in this case, it is a verb. Does it mean to make something happen? Does trigger mean to make something happen? Yes. If you trigger someone, you make them upset. if you trigger somebody, you make them accept. And does it mean to end something? Does it mean to end something? No, it means to start something. To trigger the ball falling down the mountain, the man has to trigger it by pushing it. The man will trigger the ball falling down the mountain by pushing it. And last question, does it mean to initiate someone to do something? Does it mean to initiate someone to do something? Yes. Does it mean to start someone to start something? Yes. If you trigger something, you're starting it. Twitching. Adjective, twitching. Does it mean moving in a sudden, quick way? Does twitching mean moving in a sudden, quick way? Yes. If something is twitching, it means moving uncontrollably. That brings to number 2. Does it mean that you might not be able to control your action? Does it mean that you might not be able to control your action? What did we just say? Yes. If his eye is twitching, he might not be able to control it. And number 3, could it be related to anxiety or stress? Could it be related to anxiety or stress? Yes, it could be. It might be. And number 4, is it a small or large muscle contractions in the body? Yep, it can be small muscle contractions. Again, I apologize for the missing grammar. Remember that you have a teacher who writes the slides and a teacher who merely presents them. An urge. An urge. Is a verb or a noun? Is an urge a verb or a noun? Well, we can see clearly that we have the article beforehand, so we know that an urge is a noun. And does it mean a weak impulse to do something? Does it mean a weak impulse to do something? No. It's a strong desire, a strong want to do something. And does it mean that you have a strong need to do something? Like we just said, yes. Does it mean to have a strong need to do something? Yes. If you have an urge, it means you have a strong need to do something. And number 4, is it a strong wish that is difficult to control? Is it a strong wish that is something to control? Yes, an urge is something that is hard to control. Wean someone away from. Wean someone away from. Is it a noun or a verb? Is it a noun or a verb? Well, it's actually a phrasal verb, phrasal expression. And the second question, does it mean to stop something immediately? Does it mean to stop something immediately? Well, what is the expression we say if you stop something immediately? That's right. Go cold turkey. If you stop something, you stop cold turkey. But if you wean someone away from something, it does not mean it immediately. It means gradually, which is our third question. Does it mean to stop something you're doing gradually? Yes. If you wean someone away from smoking, you are gradually weaning them off of smoking. Fourth question, does it mean to stop something you have become dependent on? Does it mean to stop something you have become dependent on? Yes. So in this picture, for example, we need to wean ourselves away from the old light bulbs and replace them with LED light bulbs. We've become dependent on these types of light bulbs because they're brighter, but if we use these light bulbs, they use a lot less electricity. And the final slide, withdrawal. Withdrawal is an adjective or an adverb. That's right, it's an adjective. And is it a bad feeling when you stop doing something? Is it a bad feeling when you stop doing something? Yes, it can be a negative feeling. And number 3, is it a condition that makes you happy or sad? Is it a condition that makes you happy or sad? It's a condition that makes you sad. Does this person look happy without his cell phone? No, he looks sad, he looks uncomfortable, he needs a cell phone, he's experiencing a withdrawal. Okay, and that brings us to the end of this presentation, the final video in our vocabulary presentation series. I hope you've enjoyed the effort put in by all the teachers, and I'd like to thank you very much for watching to the end, and I wish you the best of luck for the final exam. Have a good day.